This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, President Trump has signed the Memorandum of Understanding. And now the hard work begins. 60 days to reach the agreement. In the meantime, the Strait of Hormuz is expected to open at any moment. And then the talks will really get into the nitty-gritty and also the verification process. And I don't like a lot of this. I'm very skeptical of Iran. I'm not skeptical of President Trump. And yeah, there are a lot of critics out there tonight. There's a lot of critics on both sides of the aisle. And I can understand frustration by some of the folks on the Republican side. On the other hand, you got to give President Trump an incredible amount of credit for taking it to this moment with Iran like no other American president has. And he's also said that if they violate it, they will be bombed into kingdom come. So take a listen. Again, here's what he says about the Memorandum of Understanding, and different than any other president. First of all, the other American presidents didn't threaten that. And number two, President Trump means it because he has already done the pounding and he'll do it all over again, he says, if needed.
He gave them everything, including a lot of money, which we don't give them, by the way, just in case you have any question. We'll be giving this out so you can read it and you can see. And it's a memorandum of understanding. If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We go back to bombing. You know, I don't want to do that because it's so good. But we might have to, because we're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon. But they've agreed not to, and you'll see that very clearly in the agreement.
Now, he says they've agreed never to have a nuclear weapon. So one of the big issues is funds. He says that there are some frozen Iranian funds in the United States. And listen to his prospect. He says it's not American money, but if Iran behaves, they'll get the Iranian money back. Listen to this.
Better.
Can you explain, though, what the difference is between giving Iran U.S. dollars and unfreezing U.S. dollars for
Well, the unfreezing is an easy one to answer. We have taken a lot of their money, and we have their money. We have taken their money. It's not our money. It's their money, and we froze it. At a certain point in time, I guess we're going to have to give it back. You know, if we didn't give it back, nobody would ever invest in the dollar again. If you took their money, because I thought about it, you know, I'm not the most perfect person. I said to Scott, why do we keep their money? What the hell are we giving it back to them? But, you know, people from lots of nations, some nations we don't agree with, they have their money. The dollar's become very strong under me. And they don't want to have a little conflict with somebody and end up having the United States just take their money. So if you do that, you really don't have a system.
And I did just want to ask you about this. A wise man.
And that was Peter Doocy there of Fox News asking the question. And now here is President Trump on the enriched uranium. Remember, that's well below a lot of rubble because those B-2 bombers came in and hit those sites. That was last June, remember. So here's what he had to say about the enriched uranium.
Have been living in hell. So they'll work closely with us to turn over the so-called enriched material that's very deep in the bowels of the earth. Very deep. Nobody can get it. So it's not important that we do it quickly, but we could do it fairly quickly. When we have a chance, we'll do it. But in the meantime, we have cameras on every inch of it. Nobody can do it. And if they do, we'll hit them with Patriots, that's all. And they'll be gone. And they know that.
Hit them with Patriots, and they'll be gone. There is no doubt that he will use it, too. And he's not going to mess around. if Iran starts really acting up and does some very serious actions, which I believe they will. I have zero doubt, 100% doubt, I should say, zero faith in the Iranian regime and these zealots. And I believe President Trump knows what he's doing. Already you could see gas prices going down, oil prices going down. And also he continues to try over and over again to get path for peace. I mean, I'll give him a lot of credit. This is not like a warmonger. There are a lot of people, oh, President Trump's a warmonger. He's this, he's that. And listen, the Democrats are always going to criticize him no matter what he does. And then you got President Obama, which I found really distasteful, who's going to open up his really horrible looking building tomorrow. And he's out there slamming President Trump. I think that's very unprofessional, especially President Obama, who did nothing to stop Iran. And he's trying to rewrite history and make it sound like, oh, he's the guy who really kept Iran in line. What a joke. And here is President Trump, because he made a very clear distinction between Obama and the JCPOA, that deal that Obama did, and what he's doing today. Here it is.
And they became a much different country. And then I terminated the JCPOA. That's Barack Hussein Obama's horrible deal that gave them a nuclear weapon. And I terminated it, and I stopped it. And then I stopped it a second time with the B-2 bombers. And these are all major events in the history of the world, in my opinion, because it prevented them from having a nuclear weapon. And now we're going to do it again, and we're going to see how it works out.
And here is K.T. McFarland, former deputy national security advisor under President Trump. We talked with her earlier on Katz and Cosby. And she said there are very clear distinctions between what Obama did, which was nothing except bring cash, those 1.7 billion pallets of cash in the middle of the night. And remember, there was a sunset clause. There were no restrictions on Iran. The inspections were not anywhere, anytime. There's a big difference. And here's how she described them.
To me, this is the only resolution of the situation that has a prospect of a peaceful generation. Anything else, either leaving a powerful mullet, they're not powerful. They don't have any proxies. Obama didn't do anything, right? The proxies remained. The missile systems were there. The nuke program, they could have nukes within a decade. Obama had none of this other stuff. President Trump has done what Reagan did in the Cold War. It's called the anaconda theory, by the way. It's the anaconda policy, where you have a snake that just sort of wraps itself around and around and around and strangles them. And so what Trump did was got rid of the proxies, got rid of the terrorists, got rid of the finances, and then with the military operation, got rid of their military and their army, and their navy, their air force, their command and control, their missile defense systems in Syria. Understands where the money is now. We now have complete visibility of all the banks. So let's say Iran says, okay, we're going to sell our oil tomorrow. We're going to make all this money. We're going to build hospitals. We're going to see if they're building hospitals. If they're not building hospitals, if they're starting to rebuild nuclear sites, terrific. We'll bomb the nuclear sites and we'll cut off the money.
And I have a feeling the bombs are going to start flying pretty soon from the United States. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222.